So what business did you get into? Were you like, all right, this is the type of business that I want to get into, the industry, or were you just looking for any deal that
So
kind of cash flowed?
full circle, right? Remember the story I was just telling you about the NEMT driver? Well, I used to be an NEMT driver to save money for down payments. Then I moved into looking for a business in Orlando as an NEMT company. So I bought an NEMT company. I became an owner instead of a driver. So that's what I did. I bought the NEMT company. I was very familiar with the business. I didn't want to go be a driver again, but I was familiar with the business enough to where I was able to take the leap and the step to acquire it. And now today we have two of those companies. So, yep. And we're under contract. We're under contract on a third. So,
So what do those numbers break down? What do they look like for you when you got your first deal?
man, I love talking about this. My first deal is like, this is the crazy part. It's like when you're buying a company, you're not thinking like 5 months into the future of like what it could be. When I bought it, it was $350,000. I thought I was overpaying. I'm like, this is way too much money. What the hell? Like, I can't believe I'm even doing this. And I was excited, but also at the same time, I'm like, this is a lot of money and I got to go do all this work. And this guy doesn't, this guy's going to walk out of here and go off to the sunset. $350,000. I bought it. Year one, we made zero. No money. And I did that. That was strategic. We didn't make any money because the old owner was driving. He was involved in the business and doing it. So I replaced him and that just squashed all my income. So fine. No big deal. Now I got to focus on sales. Got the operations dialed in. Just focus on sales. Boom. Years 2 to like 4. All we did. Sales, 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 sales. And we just ramped up. So now we're doing, we're doing probably close to almost 7 figures a year in cash. We're teetering. We're very close. We're in that 700 to 800 mark. But that just goes to show you, man, like don't ever like estimate your value based off of like what you're doing today. Like in the future, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, yeah, it could have went down too. I could have lost it all as well. But if you put the time in, you put the effort in and you get the right people, that's another thing is that I've learned over the years is doing this as people. I used to do everything myself. And now we have a full C-suite. We got a CFO. I got a COO. Like I'm the CEO. I do capital and acquisitions now. And back then I would have never imagined where we are today, and so that little $350,000 company is now producing like 4 times what I bought it for every year. That's insanity. Yeah, man. So don't ever underestimate yourself.
I want to put myself and also you in the shoes of someone who's just starting and looking into this, acquiring businesses instead of starting one themselves. What would you say is the right route to go in 2025?
Startups are for suckers. Do not do a startup. Like, oh my God, let me save you the pain and the heartache. So you're going into 2025, you're looking for your next thing. I was on a consult call this morning. Guy asked me the same exact question. What would you recommend? Should I go and, should I just continue to grow my current company or should I go buy a new one? I was like, man, do both. Grow your company and then go buy it. Be on the hunt, look for another one. And I was like, use the cash flow from your current company, use that as your down payment to go get an SBA loan, 10% down, and go acquire another company. Now you got 2 companies in a portfolio and now you grow them both. And then eventually you get 3, maybe you start adding on somebody else into your C-suite and then you start getting a well-oiled machine. Now you got a holding company and, you got 3 entities, shit starts growing and, you can tell, man, I get so excited, so fired up with this stuff just because, man, 6-7 years ago, we were at 0. We're 1 company and now we're at 7. So
walk me through that journey from 1 to 7. What did that process look like?
Yep. So bought the first one in Orlando. Smallest deal I've ever done. If you ask me today to do a deal like that, I'll never do a deal like that ever again. Just because it's too small. My time is not worth that anymore to go in and it was like a rehab. If like comparative to like to a real estate, like a rehab. Like if you're gonna go rehab a property, that was exactly what that business was. And I don't do rehabs. Especially in businesses, I'm not interested in doing that. You can go buy a company that's performing, been in business 10 plus years, got a full management team, making 7 figures plus a year, and you can pull a $500,000 paycheck and not have to give yourself brain fog. So bought the first one in Orlando. I bought the second one in Miami. That was the one that I lost. So I bought the first one. Second one I bought in Miami. I just didn't do my due diligence, man. I got so blinded by the light, blinded by the big payday. This was my first deal that I was staring down. That was a 7-figure cash flow deal. And I was super excited. I bought it for $1.9 million. I gave the guy $1 million in cash down. Financed $900,000 over 10 years. I thought it was a freaking slamming deal, like home run. I'm like, I just hit the lottery. This is great. It's going to change my life. Like we're going to be sitting on like $150,000 a month of income. Like this is going to be a game changer. And then the day I closed, We were supposed to be doing like 10,000 a day in gross sales. The day I closed, we did $500 in sales. I thought, and this was 2 days before Christmas, I was having a panic attack. I was freaking out. I'm like, I just gave $1 million of investor money. It wasn't my money. It was an investor money. So I raised $1 million. I gave it, to them. I thought it was it. I thought I was done. I thought I was out. Then all of a sudden, I get a call from a friend of mine who had been calling me about other deals. And he says, hey, man, I got this deal in Boston. You think you'd be interested? He's like, I showed it to you before, but you turned me down. Do you think you'd be interested in it again? And I'm like, dude, I'm bleeding out right now. I need something. Like, I need $50,000 a month to like help me stop this bleeding. I was paying attorneys like $40,000 a month. I mean, it was bad. He showed me the deal. I went through the due diligence, and this guy was also hurting. It was making money. The deal was making like $60,000 a month. It was doing well, but he was hurting because he was sucking all 60 of it, like, and just dumping it into his personal account, because a rental business, go figure, that was failing, and a flipping business that was failing. And he needed to supplement that. So he needed out. He's like, I want to get out. I just need some cash. Just get me where I was. And I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. Okay, fine. So I gave him $150,000. I assumed his $1 million SBA loan. And then I put about $250,000 in the checking account. I had just sold some real estate. So I had a little bit of cash, and I needed to deploy it because otherwise I was getting eaten all up by my attorney's fees. So I needed to hurry up and deploy it so I can get the cash flow rolling again. So what I did, man. So I took a freaking leap of faith. My wife at the time, God bless her heart, because she looked at me sideways when I said, we just lost $1 million. I'm about to go buy another deal for another 1.1 million, like on a hope and a prayer that this is going to work. It did, man. That was the best damn thing that ever happened to me. That was the best deal I ever bought in my entire career, because I was up against the wall. I had no choice. I had to do what I had to do to protect my family and protect my income. Best damn deal. But here's the serendipitous part about all that is that I went to the Bank of America to go meet the guy in Boston, Massachusetts, to go change the bank accounts. And when I walked up to him and I stuck my hand out, I said, hey, man, how you doing? Josh Wilson, nice to meet you. Pleasure, working with you. He looked at me in the eye, shook my hand and said, you're an angel. And I looked at him. I was like, what do you mean I'm an angel? He's like, you saved me from losing my house. And I looked right back at him and I shook his hand. I said, man, well, you saved me from losing mine. And so what a way the universe brings two people together, at the right time. I needed him just as much as he needed me. And now that deal today, I think we did 1.2 million last year in cash flow. So best damn deal I've ever done. Just crazy how the universe works, man. Sometimes, the things just align right when you need it.